Hello, welcome back to my channel. I find that I've been speaking about books here and there in various videos of my channel, but I haven't done a video that's dedicated to books and reading in a while. So I thought that being that it's August 2nd, the first 2 days of the brand new month, why not go over some of the books that I've completed in recent weeks, as well as the books that I'm planning on finishing during the month of August, my TBR, if you will, and going through some of the books that I've purchased in the last couple of weeks. 2 I bought yesterday, and just compile everything that is related to books and reading all in one video. So let's get started. I have my computer off to the side to help me track, because I do have a Goodreads account, which has been such a wonderful tool since I've gotten back into reading on a more consistent basis, because it just really helps me stay on track with what I finished and when I finished it and how I felt about the books, because that's also where I place my reviews. So I'm going to place the books that I don't have currently with me somewhere on the screen so you can see them. But the very first book that I finished in the month of July was Direbound, which is a part of the Wolves of Ruin series by Sable Sorensen. It is a fantasy, romantasy book, enemies to, I guess you could say, lovers. I mean, it's the first book in the series, so enemies to lovers, maybe. We'll see. It's got dire wolves, and it's basically about this girl named Maren Cooper who lives in, I guess you could say, poverty. I mean, she doesn't come from a very rich and noble household. So apparently they're called nabbers. They have been grabbing children and abducting them, and they're never to be seen again. And one day the nabbers take her sister, Selah. Maren is a bit of a warrior. She definitely gets into, I would say like street fights for money. So of course, when she finds that her sister Selah has been abducted and her mom really can't do much to help, because her mom just keeps having these crazy visions. You kind of think that her mom is crazy until you continue on with the story. So after finding out that her sister's been taken, Maren decides to join this, I would say it's like a military academy that puts you with dire wolves to bond with them, to kind of be used as your own personal, I hate to use the term sidekick, but that's kind of how it feels. This is your dire wolf. This is who you bond with. This is who will be with you when you're, fighting war or in day-to-day life. Honestly, it's your own personal friend, which is such a way to minimize it, because there's so much more than that. But essentially she goes into this academy for dire wolves and training, and she immediately butts heads with this guy named Stark Therion, and he's essentially one of the alphas. There's 4 different packs, and Stark works with the warriors. So he is there to help train Maren and all the other candidates, so that when they go to war, they're ready, they've got all the tools they need, and they cannot stand each other. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was so good. I think it's the first time I've read a book that had to do with dire wolves. I've done werewolves before, but that was back in Twilight, and that was well over 10 years ago. So I really enjoyed it. I thought the writing was great. I loved Anasa, who you will meet. She is Maren's direwolf. She is sassy little bitch, but I loved her. I thought she was great, and there were parts of it that I was just this definitely reminds me of other fantasy books, but I don't care, because I still enjoyed it. So I definitely have continued with the series, which you will see later on in the video. But yeah, that was the first book that I finished in the month of July, and I thought it was great. So the next book that I completed in the month of July, it was actually an audiobook format. I finished it in 3 days. It's called Stripped Down, Unfiltered and Unapologetic by Bunny XO. I listen to country music, but I don't listen to Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll is Bunny's now ex-husband. And I knew that she had a book out and it was like a crazy story of her life. It's a memoir, but I didn't know just how crazy it was. So when I was at work, I would just put on the audiobook and listen and get my stuff done. And when I tell you that this woman has lived a crazy life and she's in her mid-40s, like the stuff in the book, I even wrote it on my Goodreads. I was like, it's amazing that she's alive to talk about these things, because from the very beginning, she was just dealt a lousy hand. She didn't have parents who were present, who cared about her, who cared about protecting her and teaching her right from wrong. There's stories of abuse, verbally, physically, sexually. She was, hanging with the wrong crowd, with friends. There were men that she dated that didn't treat her right. There was pregnancy. It's a lot. It is a lot. But somehow, some way, she was able to turn this like story of sadness and grief and loss and turn things around for herself. And now, I don't listen to her podcast, but I know that she is living like a much better life than she was prior to eventually meeting and marrying Jelly Roll. And even like in the early stages of their relationship, things were still rocky because, he has his own dark past. So I'm sure it can be hard for two people to not really know how to be in something healthy, to try to do that with each other. And she just showcases all of it. And it really is unfiltered and unapologetic, but it honestly made me feel like empathetic towards the fact that, not everyone was blessed with a healthy parent-kid relationship. Made me feel grateful for my own upbringing because, I was raised by a single mom, but we are so close and we've maintained that closeness, and it just made me feel grateful because not everyone can say that. Like Bunny can't say that, and that really sucks. But I loved the memoir. I thought it was so good. It's my first time actually completing an audiobook. I've had the hardest time finding a good audiobook, and I finally found it with her memoir, and she narrates it. And oh my gosh, something else that I enjoyed, I love her voice. She has like the softest, it's kind of like a soft Disney princess-esque voice, which I guess I wasn't expecting from her. I don't know why, but I was just like, girl, you have the nicest speaking voice. That also helps with the audiobook process. So that was a 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if there's trigger warnings that come with it, but just check them anyway, because there's some dark stuff that she has lived through in her 40-something years. So the next audiobook that I completed, I was on a roll after Bunny XO. I was like, what other audiobooks could I find? This was not a good one, in my opinion. And it sucks because this woman is so well known. So it's All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks, who is a well-known writer and philosopher. And it's basically like long-form essays about love in all its forms and how like ever present it is in your lives and how to find it or get better at it in certain aspects. And the reason why I didn't care for it, I know that it came out at the very start of the century, back in, I believe 2000. So it definitely, there are parts of it that I'm just like, this sounds like something that was written 26 years ago. And that sucks because there's so much literature out there that has stood the test of time, and it came out 100, 150, 200 years ago. And you're still like, damn, this still hits. This is still, present today. I didn't feel that with this book. And I found myself growing bored, and I was just ready for it to be over because so many things about it just felt so repetitive, and it just didn't hit me in the way that I wanted it to, because I've heard such great things about Bell Hooks. So many people that have been, reading far longer than I have, and I guess have read more books than I have just like raved about her. So it was really disappointing to not take to her work in the way that I thought I would. Okay, so after I wrapped up the Bell Hooks audiobook, I did end up listening to The Woman in Me, which is Britney Spears' audiobook. That was a 4-star read. Like, I was like this with audiobooks. Like, we were high with Bunny, low with Belle, back up with Britney. That was such a good audiobook. It was narrated by Michelle Williams, who's a famous actress, and it just chronicled Britney's like early beginnings, her rise to fame, stardom, all the highs and lows of her career and her life so far, and how she has now achieved like a greater sense of peace following no longer being under a conservatorship. I did not know, as someone who's like, yeah, I'm familiar with Britney Spears. I mean, I grew up listening to her and I've followed her career, but I did not know just how awful her family life was until things started to come out with her conservatorship. I did not know that her dad and her mom were just like money hungry and seeking to like bleed her dry. Like, they are the people who played a huge role in why she turned out the way she did, because they didn't look at her as their child. They just looked at her as this like cash grab and this money cow and someone that they can just exploit and use to like pay for their own whatever it is that they want. Like, I think her dad bought a boat and he, with the conservatorship, don't even get me started on all the restraints that were placed under her and all the like pills and stuff that she had to take or else, and all the people that were like working for the benefit of her parents, as opposed to like this is a human being and you are messing with her and playing right in her face and telling her things that are not true. And you like couple that with the pressures of fame and dealing with dating in the public eye and having children and people are hounding you. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the world owes her, even like the tabloids, the world owes her the biggest apology. Britney Spears is pop music, and for her to be treated the way that she did, like, we've definitely come so much further along when it comes to like how women are treated. And I feel like the younger generations are definitely more vocal about how this isn't okay to say to someone, this isn't okay to do, like, you shouldn't be asked those questions, boundaries are important. We still have far to go because there's still things that happen that just highlight the lessons that like are still being missed when it comes to how we treat other people, especially women in the public eye. But the stuff that she went through and that she wrote about in that book, oh my gosh. Like, I just hope that she continues to heal and takes care of herself. And honestly, like, if my parents acted the way that hers did, I would never speak to my mother ever again. And I love my mother, so that's saying a lot. So anyway, this was a 5-star review for me. I loved it. It made me love Britney the person, Britney Spears the person, and the artist. Okay, the next book that I read, I decided to continue on with the Bloodwing Academy series. So the first book that I finished was, oh my gosh, let me just look it up because I have the second one right here. On Wings of Blood. Okay, so I finished that sometime last year, I believe. It's by Briar Bolin. So I continued on with the second book in the series, which is called The Bond That Burns. So the Bloodwing Academy series, it deals with vampires and dragons, and you're following this girl named Medra Pendragon, and she is in attendance at this very like vampire high blood society. Everyone around her has like light fair skin, bleach blonde hair, and then she comes in and she's this fiery redhead, so she stands out like nobody's business. And she catches the attention of this guy. His name is Blake Drakeharrow, and he is part of like the like highest noble family ever. He's a vampire. And there's this like enemies to lovers question mark thing going on between them, because he decides, or excuse me, the people in his like family in this high blood society decide to make Medra one of his, they have a word for it, but it's like betrothed, like she's his like property essentially. And they like butt heads from the very beginning, but there's this like tension and pull between them. And people are also convinced, due to Medra's appearance, that she is a dragon rider. And she's just like, I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about. Okay, I don't know anything about these dragons that you speak of. So book 2 essentially picks up where the book 1 finished. And I'm trying not to spoil it, but you like dive deeper into the academic setting and the relationship between Blake and Medra. You learn whether or not like dragons are in fact real, or maybe they have gone extinct. And There's a cliffhanger at the very end of book 2 that has to do with one of Medra's friends, and I believe Blake's older brother, Marcus, who you'll meet in book 1. What an asshole, dude. Like, don't even get me started on this man. But anyway, I continued on with that. It kind of, it wasn't as enjoyable as book 1 was for me. Book 1, I believe I gave 4 stars. Book 2 was 3 stars. So much of it kind of dragged and felt like we could have gotten to that point a little bit sooner. I will say, Blake and Medra's relationship, it's like enemies to, are they lovers? Do they like each other? Or do they just like having sex with each other? You don't know. It's very interesting. I'm so used to friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, or like second chance romance. I've done that too. But to have them be like both a little morally gray, and you really can't tell if they're truly interested in each other because one bad thing goes wrong and they're just ready to like light the pitchforks and aim it at each other again. It's very interesting. So I am wanting to read book 3. I actually have book 3 in my possession, but I don't know when I'm going to be getting to it because I'm really enjoying these other books that I'm in the middle of. So we'll see. And then finally, the last book that I finished in the month of July, honestly, like the best book I read in the month of July, it was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I have it upstairs. This was a 5-star read for me. I loved this book, and I even said in my review that I cannot believe it's a young adult novel because I grew up reading young adult novels, but I've like stayed away from them in the last couple of years that I started reading more. And I don't know why, because this was fabulous. This was an amazing read. So basically you are following this girl. It's dual POV. So you're following this girl. Her name is Leia, and it's set in a very dystopian world. These augurs, I think that's how you say it. They come into her home. They murder members of her family and abduct her brother and say that he is going to prison for treason. It's set in this like martial empire where if you disobey for whatever reason, you will be put to death, no questions asked. It's a brutal world. She's now having to, find her brother and proclaim his innocence and essentially free him because he's the only family she has left. So she decides to enter into the empire with the help of these rebels who are called the Resistance, because you'll learn that her parents were a part of this resistance group that essentially wanted to break free of the empire and, dare I say, like overturn them in a way. So Leia decides to work with this rebel group, the Resistance, and what they say to her is that we will help you find and free your brother if you go undercover and gain some secrets that live within this empire. So she does. And on the other side of it, you meet this guy. His name is Elias, and he is kind of a I would say cadet essentially, and he and his friends have to go through these various trials to decide who will be next in line to be the emperor. Elias does not want to live in this world anymore. He wants to be free himself. So you essentially have two people who are fighting for freedom in two different ways, and it follows a dual POV, and you see when they meet, and there's a little bit of an attraction there that they have to each other. And the villain in this book, her name is Karis, but she goes by the Commandant. When I tell you, this is probably one of the most ruthless fictional women I have come across in a book this year. She is so, oh my gosh, she is so mean. She is so mean. You just have to read the book. She's mean. And it kind of follows Elias as he's going through these trials with his friends, and he's got a best friend, Helene, who they're friends with each other, but you can tell that there's something else that's brewing between them, and you kind of see what comes of it. And then you also see Leia meet this boy Keenan, who's a part of the rebel group that's assisting her, and what may come of their relationship as well, in addition to the relationship between Leia and Elias, because like I said, their paths eventually cross, and there's just this invisible string between them that they're wondering should they act on it or not. So I loved the book. I loved this world. There were so many twists and really sad, scary moments. But I just thought it was so good. And it was a world that I I guess, used to being in as far as fantasy. It definitely reminded me of like ancient times. I think someone said ancient Rome is what it's inspired off of, which I greatly get that feel too, with this like gladiator-esque theme that they've got going on. So it ends with a bit of a cliffhanger. I'm currently in book 2. I just started, but I gave this 5 stars because I just thought it was absolutely fabulous from start to finish. I'm telling you, like at the end of, I believe, like chapter 1 or chapter 2, I just got chills because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is no joke. This is a crazy world that I'm being immersed in. So yeah, Seba Tahir, she's a new author to me this year, and if things continue to go well with the series, she'll probably be my favorite author that I found in 2026. So those are the books that I finished in the month of July. Now I'm gonna show you the books that I'm currently reading that I'm hoping to finish currently this month in August. So I'm gonna start with the book at the very top of the list. This is A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. This book, I've heard so many things ever since I started reading again on a more consistent basis. This book has come up in a video so many different times. It is a romance, it's angst. It follows a girl, her name is Brex, and she has like this immediate crush form on this guy named Jamie, only Jamie is dating her best friend. So I'm still early on in it, but I feel like this is going to be one of those books where you like, it like follows two people who like, yes, they like each other, but they really, you know, how do they go about acting on those feelings when he's dating her best friend? And I don't think, at least I hope there's not going to be like a cheating trope in this, but it's just one of those, like, I saw him first, but my best friend means so much to me. Who am I to stand in the way of her happiness, even though I've also got a crush on the guy myself? So so many people have said it's been a 5-star read for them. It's like a masterclass in angst and yearning and like wanting someone so bad and not being able to do something about it. And I had to look up because I was just like, I can't let this book break my heart. So I looked it up and there is a happy ending. I don't know what the happy ending is, but I know that there is one. So I'm excited to continue on with this book. I'm only on chapter 3, so I'm like 30 pages in. So I still gotta, you know, get to the root. So I really gotta, you know, really like dig deep in this and see if it lives up to the hype. But so far I'm enjoying it. Second book I'm reading, I'm continuing on with the Ember and the Ashes series. So this is book 2, A Torch Against the Night. This picks up immediately where book 1 left off, with Leia and Elias and Helene and all the crap that happened in book 1. I like the anticipation of what's currently happening. I'm currently on chapter 5, but so far it's just like, boom, like here we go, we're back in it. And it's so good. I can't reveal too much, of course, because I just started it, but I loved book 1 so much. So I'm going into this with such high hopes because book 1 was incredible. And every time I like give an update about this book on my Goodreads, there's someone in the comments saying, oh my God, I hope you're enjoying it because this was my favorite series ever. And based off of book 1, I can understand why it would be a favorite series because it's so good. So I'm definitely going to be continuing on with this in the month of July. Now, I took the dust jackets off for these 2 books, but this is Fury Bound. So this is the second book in the Wolves of Ruin series after Dire Bound. So it also picks up where things left off with Meryn and Stark and her sister Sayla. And in this book, the realizations that are made in book 1 come forth a little bit more in book 2. Once again, I can't reveal too much because I don't want to spoil it, but you are dealing with the guy that Meryn was seeing in book 1 and what became of that relationship. You're getting to learn more about her sister Sayla, their dynamic as sisters, what's been going on since she was abducted. And Stark and Meryn, there's this like, because you see it in book 1, there's definitely an attraction between them. So I think in this book, I'll get to like explore that a little bit more now that like I know what's been revealed in book 1. Now we get to really like explore that in book 2. So I'll probably be done with this soon. I'm on chapter 19, so I'm about like 200 pages in. And then I've also, dust jackets off, but I also decided to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This is my second V.E. Schwab book. The first book I read, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, did not enjoy it at all, so I'm giving the author another chance. This book, it kind of follows 3 women set in 3 different time frames, and it tells 3 different stories. 2 chapters are about one woman, and then 5 chapters are about another, and then 1 chapter is about the third girl. So it's interesting. I'm wondering if there's going to be a connection between all 3. It's still too soon to tell. Like, I'm reading about Maria right now on her 5th chapter, and she's set in 1529, and she's newly married, but she's not really interested in her husband, and she doesn't really want to be pregnant. There's a lot going on in this book, so I'm still like finding my footing, but it is really interesting. I will say it's better than Invisible Life of Addie LaRue so far. That's what I'll say, at the risk of, you know, causing a fight. I'm enjoying it much more than I enjoyed the first book that I read of hers. So that is on my current TBR, and then I'm also going to show you finally the books that I have been buying in the last couple of weeks. So I bought a nonfiction book. My boyfriend would be so proud because he reads nonfiction. This is Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. I have heard so many wonderful things about this book and how it highlights the, like, quote unquote wild woman, who she is, what she's like. I'm hoping to read this very soon. Maybe it's something that I can pick up in September. I'm excited because, I don't know, I feel like it's one of those books that's gonna highlight the women of the world who, like, go against the grain, think outside of the box, do their own thing, don't walk in a straight line, and why they're somehow, some way labeled as wild. So that's my guess. That's what it's going to be about. So I'm excited to pick that up, or to read it. The 2 books that I bought yesterday. This book I have been hoping and praying to finally get for quite some time. So this is Blood and Betrayals, Avalon University Book 1 by Jeanette Rose and Alexis Rune. So Jamie Varon, she is on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram as That Girl Reads. She was like, this is a 6-star read. This is a dark academia, fantasy, romantasy book, and everyone and their mother needs to read it. So the thing about Jamie Varon, when it comes to fantasy novels, she is who I trust. If she says the book is good, the book is good. When I was walking through Barnes & Noble and I finally saw the traditionally published cover of this book, I didn't even hesitate. It was the only one left. I grabbed it. So I am so excited. I think that because it's set in like an academic setting, it would make the most sense to save it for September, because where I live, that's where school starts. That's when the school year begins. So, like, why not follow through the school year and read a book that's set in a more academic setting? It's fantasy. Power flows through the ancient halls of Avalon University like a never-ending flood. Admission to the elite institution enables students to hone their magic under the watchful eye of their icy headmaster. Summer Tuatha de Danann planned to slide through her tenure at Avalon unnoticed and inconspicuous. She has no interest in learning more about her past or why someone applied to the school on her behalf. Her barriers keep everyone at bay, and her sharp tongue makes people give her a wide berth. Yet despite her best attempts, her emotional armor begins to melt as she grows closer to her feral vampire roommate and an angelic senior. Maybe this could be good for her, a new life, but dark secrets lurk in the halls of Avalon, and soon those same halls will be drenched in blood. Summer finds herself to be the obsession of a sadistic stalker who offers a dire warning and chilling lessons he expects Summer to learn. With the help of her new friends, she races against the clock to reveal the stalker's identity, hoping to save lives and catch a killer before it's too late. Sign me up. I will definitely be reading that in the fall. And then another book that everyone and their mother was speaking about for months that I did not expect to pick up, but the synopsis really struck me. So this is Daggermouth. It was also a book that was independently published, and now it's been traditionally published, so that's why it's a hardcover. My boyfriend would be so proud because he loves hardcover books. This is by H.M. Wolfe, and it says, "He is her ruin, she is his rebellion." So, based on my understanding, the woman in this book is an assassin, she misses the mark, and now she has to be married to the person that she was trying to take out, which is this man, the prince. It's dark romance, which is not a genre that I frequent because some of these dark romance books, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of shitty men. Period. I guess I haven't come across enough dark romance books to really be like, oh my gosh, that was so good. He was so awful, but he was great to her and like killed everyone else and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I guess like my ideal fictional man isn't a crazy psycho killer, stalker, whatever you read about in dark romance books. So I'm choosing to give this a chance because I have heard really great things and I did like the synopsis of it. So we will see. Maybe this will be something that'll like pull me further into the dark romance genre. Only one way to find out. So those are the 2 books, Blood and Betrayals and Daggermouth, that I picked up yesterday. The rest I bought in previous weeks. So that is basically it for this video. I just wanted to come on here and do something that was like solely based around books and reading because I just love to read. I like got back into it again in 2023. So I'm just like catching up on all the authors and stories that I've missed since I like wasn't reading on a consistent basis. So I'm really enjoying it. I said to my boyfriend this morning, I was like, I have so many unread books. I have so many unread books. I'm currently in the middle of 4 right now. But you know what? It's a good problem to have. So I plan on keeping you posted in the videos that are to come throughout this month about where I am. Maybe I can do a recap at the end of August and we can kind of see where I've landed and what I've got going on in September when it comes to reading. So yeah, that is basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you in the next one. Bye.